Go ahead and start. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, so we're going to be going over opportunity calls and then one-on-one potential calls. Ella, Jess, and myself. Um, so, you guys, these are so important. And I'm actually really excited to do this call. And Ellen, Jess, and I were talking earlier because we really want you to be comfortable with getting on the opportunity calls. When anybody messages and says, like, hey, we're doing an op call tonight, like, who wants to speak? Like, you guys should be jumping on that opportunity. Like, it's such an amazing time for you to tell your story. And what I will say is that the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. Like, I know it can be awkward, it can be uncomfortable and kind of like weird at first, but the more you do anything, the more comfortable it's going to get. You guys, when I worked my very first job out of high school or out of college, I worked at a domestic violence shelter. Okay. I had to answer the phones and do intake calls. And I was scared shitless of answering that phone because I had no idea what was going to be on the other end of that.
Yes, I know my window's open. Can you please shut the door? I'm not going.
Okay, whoever's window's open, can you also mute your mic? I don't know who that was. But as I was saying, I was scared shitless to answer the phone because I was just like, I don't know what's going to be on the other end. Like, I'm just not comfortable yet. And not even like 2 days into my job, my supervisor pulled me in. She was like, you have to answer the phone. She's like, you just have to do it. You just have to do it. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. Like, just do it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. So next day I show up to work. First time the phone rings, I answered it. And it got easier and easier every time I did it because I did know what I was doing. I did know what I was talking about. You guys know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. It's your story. Nobody can tell your story better than you. You know exactly where you were. Okay, so now I'm going to transition into the opportunity to call. Really, all that it is you telling where you were before the business, the things that you were feeling, and then also the things that you were desiring, how you connected with your upline, maybe a little bit of your upline story, where you are now, and where you anticipate going. You know that. You know your story. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get doing it. And one thing that I really suggest to a lot of my new business partners is taking their camera and record yourself telling your story and play it back to yourself. Because then you'll hear and you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, like you'll know where you're nervous. You'll know when you started to just kind of like say a lot of things that didn't necessarily need to be in there, but you'll start to hear it yourself speaking on it and you'll know like, oh, I want to keep that in my story. This is what I can take out. This is what I want to keep. So even to get yourself comfortable, just like set up your camera and talk to it, telling your story. So again, when you're doing your potential calls, you guys, it's where you were before this business, why you wanted to do it, where you're at now, and where you plan on going. And then you pass it on to the next person. Now, if you are hosting the potential call, what I usually like to do on my potential calls, I know some are different, you know, whoever's hosting may ask you like, hey, can you touch on like this part of the business along with your story? The way that I like to do it is I like to take the lead on touching on, we're partnered with a naturally based hair care, skincare company. I like to touch on the trips and the car program, the community, and what social selling actually is. And very brief and very quick, because this is an opportunity where it's really for them to like meet you and the team. You know, so they're not only connecting with you because you've already been in the DMs, you've already been texting, having conversations. So it's time really to like hear people's stories, but you obviously do want to touch on those things, especially if it's someone that you just like talked to that day and they were like, oh, I'm kind of interested in what you're doing. And you're like, oh, perfect, today, like I have a potential call, get on this. So you are going to want to touch on those things. So for my opportunity calls, I usually take the lead, but honestly, it's another opportunity for you guys to really learn the business. I think on mine, I very briefly touch on like the like materialistic type of incentives. Just because for me, like the biggest thing with Monat is our gratitude program. So I really like to touch on that. I like to touch on our boxes and how we can put donated items and send them back. I like to touch on the fact that we're sustainable and you can send your products back. Like whatever it is that really like you love the most about the business, like make sure that you touch on that. And it gives you an opportunity to get used to talking about it and really understanding and knowing why you back this company so much. And again, the more you do it, the more knowledgeable you'll be and the easier it will be to roll off your tongue. So take the opportunity to jump on these opportunity calls yourself so you can listen and also learn the team, but also be able to speak your truth and why you're doing this and get more comfortable with it and see how they go and see how different people do it. Because the way that I tell my story may not be the same way that you tell your story. But it's a good way for everybody to learn and figure out, exactly how they want to do it. So that is the basics of the overall potential calls when we do them like as a big team. As far as my one-on-one potential calls, like if I'm just jumping on the phone with someone, those are a little different for me. So on those ones, I'm doing minimal speaking. So if someone's like, hey, I want to learn more about what you're doing, like I see what's going on, I'm like, perfect, let's jump on a call. When do you have time? Whatever. As soon as we get on the call, I just ask questions because I want to learn more about them. So that's an opportunity for you to listen. Okay. Like, what did you see about my stories that really sparked your interest? And then you can feed off of that, build off of that, learn more about why they're interested in what you're doing, learn more about what their desires are, learn more about what it is that is going on in their life right now that they're not satisfied with. Because that's what is going to help you speak to what it is that this business can do. Because again, we're problem solvers. So you really want to listen to them and figure out what is it? Like, why is this something that you're interested in? Is it because you see that I'm able to travel? Is it because you saw that I earned a trip through the company? Is it because you see all of the friends that I've made through this company? Or is it because you see, like, you've seen the growth? Like maybe it's someone that has known you 5 years ago and now they see you work in this business and you've developed into a whole new person because of the personal development. Like figure out what it is, but that's only going to happen by listening. And that's really what people want. They want to be heard. They want someone to listen to them, to really like draw out what it is that's going on, to feel heard. And that's what you're here to do, is to really figure out exactly what it is that they're needing and what we have to offer. And ask those questions like genuinely, don't just do it because you're like, okay, like I need a new market partner or I have to get a market partner. Like be genuine about it. Continue to ask questions. If you don't know what it is, like there should be no conversation around the incentives of this company if you don't know the reason why this company is for them. Let's see. Just want to make sure that I touched on everything that I wanted to go over. Okay, yeah. Ella or Jess, if you guys want to go ahead and explain how you do your one-on-ones or anything with opportunity calls.
Yes, I will go ahead and go next. I'm honestly really excited to talk about this because with potential calls, you guys, I feel like I did trial and error for so long, like figuring out how to go about potential calls, what works for me. So my biggest advice first, number one, is do what feels authentic to you. Because I remember like sometimes I'd get on like calls with SEDs or, top leaders in the company, and they were like, oh, I do it like this. And I tried to copy other people, but then it didn't feel authentic to me. Make sure you're muted if you're getting on. And so just finding what felt authentic to me, and I'm super similar in the way that I go about it as taught, is like I really focus on listening, because when someone gets on a call, people talk at you all day long. Like there's so many things of people telling you how to live your life, where to be, what you should be doing. And when you're getting on the phone with someone, they don't need another person to tell them what to do or how to live their life. They need somebody to hear them, to hear what they're going through, to hear what they've been experiencing. And you can be that person. You can be that person to, just help them feel heard and see if this is something that would benefit them. If it doesn't benefit them, that's okay. But if it does, take that time to connect with them and to make that special. That's where your relationship starts, right there. And so if you can take the time to really hear them out, and like Todd said, like really start to kind of build that relationship, then that's going to make all the difference. And it's also going to leave a lasting impact on them. Even if they don't necessarily join the business right away, or if they do, like it's still going to make an impact on them that you listened to them and that you cared and that you weren't there to just try to like convince them to do something. And so when I'm scheduling to get on the call, just kind of some things to say, things like that. Um, Basically, I will send them like a video. So let's say somebody fills out my influencer application, they reach out to me, or I reach out to them, they say that they're, interested. Then I will say, great, I actually have a quick 10-minute video I can totally send you. It has a little more information, so I can send you that if you'd like. They say yes. And then I send that video. And when I send it, I'll also say, here's the video, and I'd love to, schedule a time to talk, to get on the phone and just kind of hear more about you, your goals, your, passions, and see if this is something that'd be a fit for them. So right there, I'm giving a preface of like why we're getting on the phone. I'm not just like, okay, you want to hop on the phone? Like, I'm like, I want to hear about you and see if this is something that would benefit you. And so that's kind of how I ask it. And then I'll give like 2 different times. So I'll say, I'm available today at like 6 Central Time or tomorrow. So let's say they say tomorrow, then I'll give them 2 time options again, and then they'll let me know which time. So that's kind of how I schedule it to like get them on the phone. It's good to give time options, not to say like, oh, I'm free all day. Like say I'm available this time or this time. When works best for you, if either of those times work, let's do it. If not, give me a time that works for you. So that's kind of how I schedule it. If you don't have a video to send, you can reach out to your upline for one, or you can create one. So that's what I did, is I sat down with a couple of the girls on my team, and we just basically did like a opportunity call kind of, but where nobody was like on it. You could send them an opportunity call, record it too, but we just recorded one. And you want to make sure that you're also talking and you're just kind of going through the opportunity, so that when you get on the phone, you're not talking at them. You don't need to, like, they should know what you do. They should know the details before you're getting on the phone, because you want to take that time to get to know them and see if this is something that'd be a fit for them, not talk at them, right? And so if they already have an idea of what they're doing, then they can kind of reflect on that and they can come prepared to the call. And it also saves you both time, because then you're not like on the phone for a super long time. You can just spend that time to connect. So that's what I do. If you don't have a video, or if you don't have one that like really resonates with you after you've kind of asked around, go ahead, like I'm challenging you now, go ahead and create one. Find some people, on your team that you vibe with. Maybe you can get on the, like maybe your mentor, and you can ask somebody else. It doesn't have to be a ton of people, and you can kind of go through like how you would do an opportunity call and just record it. And then I uploaded it to Vimeo, and then I just save it so that now I have it and I can send it out. So using a third-party tool, that's like seriously been a game changer for me. Like if I get on the phone and somebody doesn't already know what I do, it's just, I feel like it's kind of, then I have to sit and explain everything, and it's just a lot simpler if they already know what I do and they, have an idea about it. So yeah, that's kind of like how I get them on the phone. And then once I'm actually on the phone, I'll spend time getting to know them, kind of like with work, what they're doing. If you haven't already, it is good to kind of know these things before you get on the phone, but sometimes you don't, and that's okay. But yeah, getting to know like how's work been, if they're in school, what they're studying, and just kind of ask about their passions. Like, what do they love to do? What do they enjoy doing? Because if you take that time to ask those kind of questions, you can know maybe they like traveling. Maybe the trips are going to be like a huge thing, like, Tom was talking about, they're going to be super excited about. And I will ask, like, what do you wish you could do more of? And I kind of just go with the flow. Yes, ask better questions. Yeah, PK talked about that a lot, about how, you can ask questions and get to know that person even before you're even getting on the phone. It's super important. So that's something I'm working on too. But yeah, and then, there's a couple other questions like, that I do ask on the phone. Like I'll ask, kind of just like different aspects of the business, and I'll touch on them. Like, we have like this amazing community where we genuinely just get to uplift each other and help each other win. Like, what would that do for you to have that kind of support? So something I'd ask, and then they would go off and start talking, and I just, listen, and they'll talk about maybe like how they feel like they don't have like a lot of close friends or people who are supporting them or who believe in them. And that's a great way, like they're going to start sharing already, and they're going to be like, wait a minute, like I do need a community. Like, so when you're going through these questions, it's just going to help people realize themselves, and you're not even doing the work. Like you're just asking, and they're talking to themselves, realizing, wait a minute, I need that, And then another question would be, with this business, we're able to work from anywhere. Would that flexibility allow you to do certain things? gonna be like, sis, yeah, I want to be at home working or have kids, or, I want to be out and about and be able to do this. And they're going to share with you. Another question is, we are, super big on personal development and mindset. And, we'll share just different tips to like improve in that area. Like, how would that help you grow? That's a good question. Kind of seeing like where they're at in their personal development. That might be something they're already super into, or maybe they want to get into more. And then another question would be like, we have the opportunity to earn fully paid trips from putting in the work. Is that something that you'd be excited about? And then just asking like about the source of income. We have this opportunity to have another source of income and make, commissions and bonuses 5 times a month. Is there certain things that would specifically benefit you? So that's another question. And they're going to tell you, what kind of income they're looking for and why they need it, which is super important to know as well. Let's see. And then, yeah, I guess the last question, I mean, you can kind of like write these down and think of some on your own too, but the last question that I'll ask is, we're doing something that genuinely uplifts people in so many areas in their life. And is that how would it feel to be doing something that you could be passionate about and be excited about? So that's a question I love to ask, because people will share, how it would feel to do something fulfilling and just kind of talk about that. So that's kind of how I go about the potential call. The last thing that I'll do is explain how to get started, send the link, kind of talk about their hair, and then I leave it at that. I'll invite them, like follow up and invite them to an opportunity call or an in-person event. But I really, if they're ready to run, they're ready to run. But yeah, that's how I go about everything. I will turn it to Jess next.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Tot. I think you guys covered a lot, which thank you so much. I hope everyone has like lots of notes, lots of mental notes. Like there's so many aspects, right? There's so many things that could be covered in a potential call or a one-on-one, but like, let's just all take a step back, right? Like I'm a very like literal person. Like I like receipts. I like facts. Maybe not everybody's like that, right? But like, let's all talk about what this means. What is a potential call, right? Like it's them potentially joining you in a business venture. Okay. So this call that you're having with them, it's them signing up for you. They're signing up with you. I want you to think about a lot of you on the call were approached by other people and said no. And then you signed up with someone and said a yes because you signed up with them. Okay, so they're signing up for you. They're not signing up for the robotic version of you that's like, this is Monet and this is all we have to offer and da-da-da, and we have this like word vomit sometimes, right? Like sometimes I'm like, yo, like my hair was fucking falling out and I found something and I was like, cool, I can go on my story. Someone else can get exactly what helped me. I can give back the way that someone gave back to me. And now I get to make an extra source of income, right? Like super, like maybe that's my story, but maybe someone else's story is different. If we are talking about ourselves, if they ask that, right? Or if we're on a potential call where like 3 people are headlining, right? Like who's all talking on the call. And I don't know if anybody else does this, but before I leave the house, keys, phone, purse, wallet, charger, right? I have this list. So when I have a potential call, like if I'm someone who's there, who, what, where, when, why, how? Who am I? What do I do? When did I sign up? Where do I get to work from my phone? Why do I do this? And then how do you get started, right? I have to keep it basic because like my brain sometimes goes all over the place. Like just keep it simple, right? If they want more, that's when, yes, like you're in the one-on-one, but like save some of that, right? Like let's save some of the extra stuff because sometimes we get excited. Y'all know I like to talk. Sometimes I look at my calls and I'm like, I just talked for an hour straight, Jessica, what the fuck? Like, so I could if I had to, but think about if you were to sign up for something and you had no idea what it was and you were on a call and like Ella and Tot were saying, like they just talked at you the whole time or whatever. Like I want to hear from someone who's genuine, Like, yo, if you're selling stamps and you're gonna sell me on some stamps, you're just like, yo, look what I get to do. Like, and they're like, did you know that this, and there's like some, you know, an interesting fact here and there. But my point is that you just have to be yourself. Here's the thing though. What if you just signed up 2 weeks ago and you get on a potential call and say, like, someone's like, hey, do you want to speak on this call? This is my personal opinion, my personal advice. Everybody's different. Okay. And that's the thing. You're going to hear from different leaders. You're going to hear from different people in the organization that are going to say totally different things. But from my point of view, I'm going to be completely honest. And I'm going to say, I just signed up 2 weeks ago. I'm still learning the ropes, but I'm earning as I'm learning, and I'm learning as I'm earning. And so far, this is what I like. So far, this is how I feel. Because people want to relate to somebody. They don't want you to be like, well, this is Monet and this is what I get to do. Like, I'm going to be like, so I'm going to sign up and be a robot. That's why network marketing gets a bad name sometimes, because, you know, some people sign up and it's like, you can only say this on this call. You know, like, our team is very different. Okay. We got a lot of people being themselves. We got a very diverse team. We got a spiritual team. We got a God team. Like, we got that team, right? This isn't scripted, you know? So sometimes we get nervous. And even if you're just like, you know, I'm a little nervous right now, but I'm excited to be here. Like, someone's like, oh, dang, this girl's hosting a call and she just said she's a little nervous. Like, wow, I can totally relate. And when you're on a one-on-one, my biggest thing is, like, people want to be seen and people want to be heard. So if you're on a potential call and they are someone who, like, recruiting, right? Say that you're recruiting for an NBA basketball team. So you see them like, yo, I want you to be my point guard. Like, this is what I see in you. And they're like, why do you see this in me? You know, it's like, well, this is what I observed from your page so far. This is what I'm hearing you say on your story is that you want more money. And what I'm seeing is that you're already a confident individual. And those are the type of people that I want to surround myself around. And guess what? I have a whole team of people who would love to be immersed in your energy and all of us learning how to go about this business in a different way. Right? So see them for something that they're already coming with. That means that you did your homework, boo. You don't just get on a potential call and you haven't watched their stories. You haven't look, I'm the type of person, I already know their birthday. I might already know their cousin's name. Like, I can, like, swipe through and I'm like, so you're a Gemini with a Pisces moon? How's that going for you? Like, that's just the type of person I am, right? So you're on the potential call and it's like, this person cares. Like, this person I'm not just a number. I'm not just someone that they have a call with and they probably have one right after this. You know, it's like, oh, I'm like, so I see, I'm not going to say this, but I'm like, so you just got out of a relationship? No, we're not going to go there. But, you know, like, just people want to be seen, right? People want to be like, dang, that's what I want to join. I want to join someone who's personable, someone who's talking about the products. And honestly, this, like everybody has said, even on the VIP calls, the market partner calls, like, these products sell themselves. So it's more so like, why do you want to social sell with me? Because this could be anything. But like Todd said, the sustainability or like the programs that the company has, because different companies have different things. Like, as much as it is about the products, it's less about the products when it's the potential call. It's more about the person who wants to join what it is that we're doing as, like, a movement. And especially if they're talking about the incentives and the money, like, okay, we'll get there, boo. But, like, I want you to be right here with me right now. Like, really focus your attention, like, on them. And then when you're hosting, when you get on a three-way, like, say you did just sign up 2 weeks ago and you ask, like, one of like a leader or someone who's been in the business longer, like, hey, can you be on a three-way with me to help me with this potential call? Take notes so that you don't have to do that all the time. Because I relied on that for a long time. When I first started the business, I'm not going to lie, I was like, Auntie, if I have potentials, I'm just going to send them to you. Because I had no intention on working the business like this. I didn't. And you can ask a lot of people who have quit their 9 to 5. That was a lot of them. It was not their intention to do this full time. And so I relied on Auntie a lot. And I was just like, girl, I'm just going to send these people to you because I don't know what I'm going to say. So then once I was like, well, now I got a whole squad. So maybe I should learn what the fuck it is that I need to say on these calls. So when I would go on the calls, right? Yeah. Yeah. See, maybe I was enabled to be kind of lazy. So don't be me. If you have a potential, get on a 3-way, take notes, and then say, like, maybe like 2 to 3 3-ways max. And then be like, from now on, I'm going to host either a one-on-one or I'm going to invite you to a potential call because I'm going to learn how to do this. Learn how to make a Zoom link. Learn how to make a Zoom account. Learn how to send a link. And then you learn what to say. And like we're all saying, like, get to know them. And if you already know a lot about them, tell them that. Like, it's kind of like dating. Like, let's just talk about these are people, they're humans. Like, if someone came to a Tinder date and they're like, oh, I saw that you had a dog in your picture. I saw it was like a golden retriever. How old is it? That's so exciting. Like, do you love your dog? So if you see something like, girl, I see you changed up your hairstyle. Like, are you trying to work on that damage repair? Because girl, guess what? You get to have a bomb transformation and you get to share that with other people, right? This is very personable when it comes to a one-on-one. So again, who, what, where, when, why, how. That's how I do it. I'm just like straight to it when I'm on a big potential call and I'm one of the people to host. Like, keep it simple. Like, maybe not 20 minutes, maybe just like a 10-minute segment of 5 to 10 minutes of who you are, why you joined. Because people are in it like, why? Because it's like, is this a pyramid scheme? Why did they join? Did someone bribe them? Like, why are they here? You know, because people don't know. If someone doesn't know, I've talked to people that didn't even know what Monet was. And I was like, how do you not know? Because what? Like, I'm the first person you heard of Monet from, because for me, I mean, I follow a billion Monet people. So you get this, like, you get to put the mark on how they think about Monet from here on out. So don't just spit all this stuff at them. Just be super real with it, right? And then when it comes to a one-on-one, ask about them and just be yourself. Like, people are signing up for you. And if they're like, I like what you do, well, I'm excited for you to join me on this venture for us to do this together. Like, make it like a we thing, and also make it a them thing. Like, I'm excited for you to level up. I'm excited to see the growth in you. Right? So yeah, just be yourself. And that's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, what if I don't know who I am? Right? What if I just joined this business and I'm still working on personal development and I don't really know what that looks like? Tell them I'm learning and I'm growing and I need someone to do this with me. And I don't want to do this alone. Right? There's a lot of people that are looking back, how Tot said, like, record yourself. Record yourself in the beginning and you'll be like, whoa. I was a little awkward, you know, I was saying some weird stuff, and you're real with it. Okay. So I think that's all I got, but thank you all for listening and being here and taking time out of your night.
Amazing. Does anyone have any questions for any of us or anything that's come up for you that, or any reasons why when we've asked, like, who wants to talk on the potential call, why you have hesitated, anything like that? Okay, perfect. So next time we do a potential call, we should be overwhelmed by the amount of people who are like asking to speak on it then, because you guys all got this. You understand the assignment. All right, you guys, yeah, please do, so I'll go ahead.